and scores. Luke Robitaille off the stick of Carey. Yager beating Jim Carey like a rented mule. Murphy on the right side. Shooting make with Yager. Backhander, he shoots and scores. Luke Robitaille makes it 4-0 Pittsburgh. He beats goaltender Carey. Scratch my back with a hacksaw. Pull it down. Behind it in front. Got a man there. The Penguins score again. Right in front. Thomas Sandstrom. Robitaille right in front. Quick backhander by Sandstrom. He makes it 7-0. Yager in front, flick it in, getting the fast lane. Grandma, the bingo game is ready to roll. Boom, and a tremendous check by old Samuelson. Right in front, Brasso, save. Steve again, Brasso. Trapping in front, Stevens shoots, he scores! Kevin Stevens in a crowd. Deron Francis to the pen, looks, turns, shoots, scores! The Penguins pull it out, a big win right when they need it. Pitch on your shoe. The Pens may be dancing with Lord Stanley once again. It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. Tonight from the Civic Arena, the Pittsburgh Penguins meet the Washington Capitals in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinal playoff series. Hello again, everybody. It all boils down to a one-game series right now as the Pittsburgh Penguins battle the Washington Capitals. The winner moves on into the Stanley Cup competition against the New Jersey Devils, and the loser goes home. How is the series matched up so far? Well, you know it's dead even at 3 games apiece. Let us look at some of the numbers so far both teams have posted. The Penguins and the Capitals both have scored 26 goals. They have 3 wins apiece. Penalties, the Capitals have a slight edge in that category. The power play, the Penguins have had a distinct advantage here on the power play against the Capitals and in penalty killing also. But you can forget all the numbers because it's down to a one-game winner-take-all situation now, Stan Savran. And the Penguins have one advantage, I think, is the fact that they are home.
No question. We talked to some of the players about losing game number 1, and they said really the home ice advantage is really only an advantage in the 7th game, and they've got that right now. You talk about 2 teams. The conventional wisdom was these teams were not evenly matched at the start of the series, but stop and consider this. You saw the numbers that Mike was talking about. Remember, too, these teams have now played 10 games overall, including the regular season. They are 5-5. Each team has won twice on the road. I don't think that there is any question that the goaltending indeed is a key. Jim Carey has been a shaken goaltender. He has allowed 12 goals on the last 44 shots he has faced. And I will tell you this, a Washington Capital told me, looking at Jim Carey out of earshot, said if he'd have played any kind of a game in game 5 or 6, we wouldn't be here for a game 7. I think something else to consider here is what the other players think about their goaltender. Mike, the players in front of him have to have confidence in him, and I think that the players in front of him's confidence has been shaken in Jim Carey.
Well, I understand that. And I mentioned talking to a guy on the sports beat the fact that he's a pro and he plays in the league and he can have a big game. I might mention also that the Penguins won Game 6. They were feeling the same effect of not having the goaltending in the series as the Capitals are feeling right now. They were wondering, when is Ken Riga going to play like he can? Well, Riga certainly did that and came up big for the Penguins, and now he gets an opportunity to play in Game 7, and he has been some impressive numbers, including a victory over the Penguins against the Pens and the Philadelphia Flyers Penguins matchup. But both clubs have that feeling, Stan, and it gets down to a situation. You got to be hungry, you got to want it, and maybe you need a couple of breaks, too, before it's all done.
Well, if the home crowd means anything, this is the loudest home crowd I've heard since going back 3 and 4 years ago. 5 minutes ago, 7 minutes before the players came out, they were screaming, "Let's go Pens," and rocking the building. They're ready, we're ready. I'm sure the players are, too.
The question is, are you ready at home? We hope you are. Sit back, relax, and enjoy it all with us. It's Game 7 of this playoff series. Coming up next.
For most of us, it's the biggest investment we ever make. I'm Jack Bogut for Thermal Twin Windows. The folks at Thermal Twin help you protect and enhance your home investment in ways other window companies can't. For instance, after Thermal Twin designs and custom builds your order, the thermalized aluminum or all vinyl windows are installed by Thermal Twin employees, usually in a single day. The result is windows with a perfect fit and a beautiful look. You and your home deserve the best, and that's Thermal Twin.
Come to Haas's Steak and Sea House for our new lunch special, Willie's Philly. We start with tender sliced beef, grilled to perfection, topped with melted Swiss cheese, grilled onions, green bell peppers, and Dijon horseradish sauce, all piled on a hearth-baked roll. Willie's Philly steak sandwich includes homemade soup or a hot veggie for just $3.79. Only at lunch, only at Haas's.
Haas's Steak and Sea House. Haas's is hospitality.
No one in South Hills can do it. No one in Monroeville. No one on the runway. And certainly no one in the North Hills can beat the values you'll find from Barrel. Chevys, Hondas, Acuras, Oldsmobile, Cadillacs, even Mitsubishis, Geos. Over 1,200 new vehicles, all priced to sell. There's a reason to shop at Barrel. Savings and selection like never before. Only on Route 19, Wexford.
How's your business now that you're banking at Allegheny Valley Bank?
Well, the free checking and the no-fee credit lines have been great, but now I need a computer.
How about leasing that computer?
From Allegheny Valley Bank?
Yes, great individual leasing programs with competitive low rates.
From Allegheny Valley Bank. Lunch is on me again, Dad, but you leave the tip.
I already did.
Allegheny Valley Bank.
Whether you're starting a new business or expanding a current one, consider leasing from Allegheny Valley Bank, where small business is our business. Allegheny Valley Bank.
Pittsburgh Penguin Hockey is brought to you by the people at Mellon Bank. You're why we do our very best. By Pizza Hut. You'll love the stuff we're made of. By the Discover card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back. By Pepsi. Nothing else is a Pepsi. By Gillette Sensor and the new Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. By the Pittsburgh Brewing Company, maker of Iron City and Icy Light. It's a Berg thing. By Foodland. You'll increase your everyday savings when you say Foodland. Yes. By Ladbroke Racing. Come on out and horse around. And by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers, home of the minivan store.
Headway for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Jeff Jiverson with our national anthem. Both teams are ready. And a big story in tonight's game, both Dave Poulin, who separated his shoulder in game number 1, and Mark Tenorti, who was injured toward the end of the regular season, are in uniform tonight. There you see Poulin, number 9, who at the end of this series, or whenever the Caps are knocked out, will retire and become the head hockey coach at Notre Dame University. And Tenorti was not expected back until the second series, but there's no sense in holding back now, and Jim Schoenfeld has dressed them both. The goaltending, Jim Carey, this series 2-3 with a 4.60 goals against, an .828 save percentage. He gave up 6 goals on 13 shots in game number 6. Kenny Reggett had a big game to get the Penguins to this point. His record 3-2 in the playoffs. That goals against is coming down, and Don Koharski is tonight's referee.
Ray Scampanello and Dan Shackney are the two linesmen. The Capitals control the draw, and they flip it into the Penguins' end. Behind the net, Reagan will stop it for the first time in Game 7. Off to Wolf Samuelson, delivered left side over to Robitaille. Out come the Penguins. Here comes McEachran. Right side to Sandstrom. Trying to give it back to McEachran, intercepted by Dimitri Christie. Christie's right side to Kelly Miller. Miller moves in with a backhander, and he missed the net. It comes around to the near wing, and Sandstrom pulls it in. Thomas Sandstrom of Pittsburgh swinging over now to Wolf Samuelson. Right side to Luc Robitaille. Into Washington territory. Breaks on. Right to the net. It's blocked by the Capitals' Cote. Tenorti plays the start of the game for the Capitals, but now Jimmy Johnson and Cote come on to play defense for the Caps. Pavanka trying to dump it out of his own zone, and does, back inside the Penguin line. Norm McIver and Larry Murphy pair defensively now for the Penguins. Murphy's pass to Robitaille. Robitaille back to Murphy in front of the puck, just went wide. Sandstrom got a stick on that, and it went wide to Carey's right arm. Back to the net. Robitaille in front, scrambled to get it. He can't. Robitaille dump it behind the goal. Tenorti after it. He's back on. Left side. It will come to McIver. Slap shot. Stopped by Carey. The rebound goes to Yager of the Penguins. Yager left side. Over now to McIver. Shot to the net, and it's picked up by Carey, and the stop made.
This is exactly the kind of storm that Jim Schoenfeld expected. The Penguins want to get to Carey and get to him early. They believe that the Penguins are in his head. Matter of fact, so do the Capitals to such a degree. Remember, this is the first time in Carey's career that he has had to face a team night after night after night. In collegiate playoffs, you don't do that. You face one team, then you move on. And he has not had to look at a Jaromir Jagr coming at him 6 games in a row, and it's a new experience for him, and it may have bothered him a great deal. And there are some people who believe that Carey thinks that the Penguins have figured him out. They have tried a different maneuver against him in the last 2 games. Instead of just shooting at him, they are trying to deke him to one side. He shows a tendency to go down to his knees when that happens, and he leaves one side of the net open. And if you think about 2 of Jaromir Jagr's goals, one in Game 5 and one in Game 6, that's exactly what has happened, and also that's how Troy Murray beat him. So keep an eye on that.
Ron Francis on board with Jaromir Jagr and Kevin Stevens. Eagles to handle the draw against Francis. Francis falling down. The puck played behind the net. And Tenorti, who is paired with Johansson, has the puck. Tenorti over to Dave Poulin. Poulin will play the left wing on this line with Eagles. And they use Ken Klee on the right side. And actually, Poulin's going to take center ice in this unit. Out to center. And then we'll come to the Penguins. McIver right down the line. He's got a breakaway. Walks in on goal. Makes a little move. McIver walking right down the alley. Beats Carey. And the Penguins lead 1-0. Oh, Michael motorcycle. Where were the Caps on that play?
They were on Jaromir Jagr. Mark Tenorti and one of the forwards were holding Jagr up at the blue line. That allowed McIver to skate right through the neutral zone. And did you watch the move? Larry Murphy makes a smart play. He knows McIver is not guarded. Now look, 2 men are on Jagr. Tenorti knocks a man down. That leaves McIver in alone. And there was the deke I was talking about. He faded to his left. Carey took the bait. He went down and he beat him easily to the open side of the net. Norm McIver's first goal as a Penguin.
Right through his legs. Yeah, I think Tenorti ran into his own man. I think that's what happened. Tenorti turned to go back and ran over his own man, leaving nobody back there. And the Penguins, McIver scores untouched, going to the net. Here comes Connor Walchuk of the Capitals. Into the Penguins in. Jones in front of the net, who runs right into goaltender Reagan. Francois Leroux, the Penguins trying to get it out of the area. The Penguins score early, and a lot of goals have been scored early in this series. Joey Mullen of Pittsburgh pulling back. Now leaving it on the near side for Troy Murray. Murray bounces up into the Capitals zone. Hudson working the left wing. Mullen on the right for the Penguins. Jones after for the Capitals around the boards. And Junot can't get to it, but it does come on to center circle. McIver scoring for the Penguins to give them the early lead at 1:37 of the first period. Back to the net. Leroux shot it, cut off by Joe Reekie. And the Capital defenseman relays it on to center. There's a collision between Connor Walchuk and Francis. Penguins steer it ahead. Jagr's up in it off escapes by Gonchar, and he got hurt. Gonchar got all of Jagr on a good check there. And dumped away back into Penguin real estate. Jagr gets up slowly, and the Penguins rig it. Leaves it behind the goal for Ron Francis. Rip it around the right side. Jagr is tied up. Jagr with 7 goals in the playoffs so far, tied with Theron Fleury for the lead in the National Hockey League. Johansson avoided a check by Francis. Here comes Kelly Miller on for the Caps. And he has had it checked away, and it goes back deep into the Capitals' near corner. Johansson rambling back. And he shoots it around the right wing boards. The Penguins let it go. There'll be no icing on the play. Reagan comes out in a hurry to set the puck up for Ulf Samuelsson. And Ulfie cutting to the right of his own goal. Looks for Jagr. They are really looking for him on every play. And that's going to open it up for somebody. There's no question about that. Jagr zigzag coming to the Caps and around Dick Christie. Moves in, going to McEachran. A slip shot. A big save by Carey there. A big hard slap shot by Sean McEachran. And Carey just reached with a glove at the last second and pulled it out of the atmosphere. 1-0 Pittsburgh here at the Civic Arena in Game 7.
Hey, one oil says it's got special molecules. Another says it's for little engines. One even makes it sound like oil can think. Come on. What's the square root of 4? See, I use Kendall oil because it lets my engine do the talking. So next time you change oil, be smart. Use Kendall.
In America today, there's but a handful of local hometown breweries left. One of them is right here in Pittsburgh. Her story spans more than a century and generations of proud, hard-working people. people who have made us what we are today. Here's to you, Pittsburgh. Here's to another century of quality, integrity, and tradition.
May 14th, 1993, the Penguins get caught in a bad line change, have only 4 men on the ice. David Bollock scores, and the Islanders beat the Pens in overtime 4-3.
It was a 2-on.
During the timeout, Peter Bonder went over to talk to Jim Carey and give him a vote of confidence, talked to him, tapped him on the pads, told him to settle down.
Murray won the face-off, left side to McIver, right side to Murphy. He's wide open. His slap shot kicked away by Carey, and it comes all the way back to center ice. Larry Murphy has been a big part of the Penguins' comeback. He now leads in the National Hockey League in scoring among defensemen with 10 points. And lifted back into the Capital zone. Cote stopping behind his own net just for a moment. Outlet pass. Hunter works out here with Bondre and Mike Eagles. So Jim Schoenfeld changing his troops around a little bit. LaRue and the Penguins on to center. And he put it up inside the Capital blue line. Jimmy Johnson going for it. Mullen stripped him of the biscuit. Mullen, though, sandwiched between two Capitals, and the puck on to center. There's Joseph's going to rattle it back into the Capital zone. Over to the far side to Dale Hunter. Just slip of the head. Right back to the Penguin line. Robitaille takes command of it. He has scored in every game so far for the Penguins in this playoff series. Murphy also. Murphy now has reached 7 straight. And the puck out of action into the crowd, and they call for the face-off back outside of the Capital blue line. So the Penguins did what they wanted to do, and that score early. They've held the Capitals without a shot. And I think one of the keys to the game was the Penguins coming out and putting pressure on the Capitals early. The last game, the Capitals had outshot the Penguins 10-1 in the opening part of the period. And that's where teams have had some success against Pittsburgh, although they've rallied a lot during the year. They were strong at home, but now the Capitals have to battle from behind, and the Penguins trying to add to it here. And I think a second goal would really put this Penguin team off and flying the way they would like to do it, but it's easier said than done.
Yep. One of the other keys is taking penalties. Look at the astonishing difference. The games the Penguins have lost, the 3 games, they took a total of 42 penalties, had to kill 24 power plays. In the 3 games the Penguins won in this series, they took just 25 penalties, had to kill off only 17 power plays. That's cause and effect there. No question, that's been a factor.
Bernardi after the faceoff shoots it long to the Penguin net. Stopped by Reggett, and the puck grabbed now by Ron Francis. Up in the play, Stevens goes the off wing right side. Francis moves into the Capital zone. Breaks on, looking for Yager. Going to the net, and it just missed his stick. Yager's after to the far wing. Avoids a check by Kelly Miller, and the Capitals have it. And Pivanka steers it over to Kelly Miller. On the play to Johansson, and it's called back now on a 2-line offside pass as Stevens and Johansson collide with one another right at the center ice area.
Mike, Jim Schoenfeld has also changed his defensive pairings. He wanted Johansson and Sylvain Cote against the Yager line, but Cote is a -9 in this series, so he's yanked him off, and it was thought that he would make a different pairing change, but with Tenorti coming back, he is now pairing Tenorti with Johansson. He wants to match them up, if he can, with the Yager line. Conversely, EJ wants the Francis line on against the Joey Juneau line, but it's a change in defensive pairings for Jim Schoenfeld with Tenorti coming back.
McEachran has the assignment here against Pivanka. He works with Poulin on the left wing and Miller on the right. They would use Poulin as a face-off man, and that could come into play before this game is all done. He's a good, strong face-off man, Dave Poulin. Johansson steers to the head to Pivanka. And he'll just tap it to the Penguin right wing corner. Robitaille going back. Leaves the puck for Larry Murphy. Penguins lead 1-0 in game 7. Outlet pass to center. Gonchar turns it over here to the near side to Joe Ricci. Ricci and Gonchar, the duo now for the Capitals. Connor Walchuk took a piece of Murphy and puck into the Penguin zone. Murphy has to stumble a bit, circles back, gets the puck, and the Penguins feed it ahead of the Capitals line. That's where Ricci takes command of it. He gave it away. McEachran spins it over to Sandstrom. Now back to Larry Murphy. Lead pass to Robitaille. Goes right wing. Pulls up. Double team. Looks for Sandstrom. Pulls it behind his back. Look at him skate. Trying to feed it to McEachran going down the slot. Can't connect. And the Capitals have it. Ricci on to center and shoots a long shot. High and wide. He doesn't know where the puck is. Near corner, Kenny. Look over here. It's not. Now it's a played around to the horn to the right side. Juneau trying to get to the biscuit. He does for the Capitals. To Connor Walchuk. Off to Keith Jones. Jones in front does Juneau, and he's too well covered by Mullen. But Ricci at the left point swings it back behind the Penguin net. Mullen battling for it. They get it out in front. Juneau took a short shot, and Reggett made the save. Juneau to Jones. Jones shooting, and Reggett got a stick on that. Good shift here for the Capitals. They're working hard against the Penguins. Mullen trying to clear the zone. Lay it ahead of McIver, and McIver does bounce it up to the neutral ice area. Out center circles Juneau, giving the puck away to Larry Murphy. Murphy's pass to the right side. Troy Murray trying to get to it. And he's going to Bang it on the backhand around to the far left wing corner of the Capital zone. Walchuk goes in, smothers Mullen of Pittsburgh, and the Capitals come rambling out. They might be a little tired right now. Here's Juneau going off the ice. He passes to Cote, who flies up to the Penguin blue line, stops, shoots it right to the net, and Riggett got it with a glove, and he has possession on the face-off in Penguin territory. Well, the Penguins lead 1-0 on a McIver goal set up by Murphy and Yager at 1:37. Now the Capitals will make a change here. Penguins have new troops coming on too. Well, you know, you look at the third period, the Penguins did not play Francis, Yager, Ulf, and Schell. And as the series has carried on, it's been a hard, demanding, grueling series, and that little extra rest might very well come into play in this game too.
I think you're absolutely right, Mike. I was thinking about that today. Maybe just a half step to a loose puck that leads to a goal, or preventing a goal that makes a difference in a seventh game. That could be a factor, clearly. And I think that there's no question that with the scratch today of Pearson, Jim Schoenfeld telling the way the game's got to be played.
Here comes LaRue back for the Penguins on the left wing to Stevens. It's behind him, and it's dumped back now to the Penguin zone. Joseph returning to take possession. Kevin Miller stalking him. Dale Hunter looked extremely tired in game number 6. From about the midway point of period number 2 on. And they didn't have a whole lot left in that game. Because they've changed their troops around here in different matchups, and I wouldn't expect him to see as much ice time as maybe he did in that game. Yager going for it in the Caps in. It comes off now to Francis, who digs for it. Over to Larry Murphy. Murphy's been strong in this first period. Over to Kevin Stevens. Penalty coming up against the Capitals. They're going to be shorthanded. Yager going for it near corner. Being pressured here. The Penguins have the extra attacker on. They have the power play coming up too. Capitals trying to gain the puck. They can't. Stevens behind the net to Luke Robitaille. Stevens wide open. He doesn't go that way to settle the puck. Now to the left of Carey. Stops. Goes out in front of Francis. Shoots at the puck. It's just wide. Robitaille's got it again. Caps have to gain possession. Over to the left side of McIver. He goes over to Murphy, and he comes off the stick. And he has to go back to his own blue line. The Capitals get pulling off. Put a new player on. Here comes Murphy. Working his way into the Caps in on the delayed penalty call. Murphy looks the net over in front. He tried to pass it over to Stevens and intercepted by Johansson. And Pittsburgh will get a power play. A high sticking minor will be called against the Capitals. Here at the Civic Arena, the turkey on the table for the Penguins. The Penguins lead here 1-0.
It's happening. Only the people who invented America's best-selling minivans could have a sale like this. The Chrysler Plymouth National Minivan Sale is here. Get $1,000 cash back on Plymouth Voyager, Roomy or Grand Voyager, and Chrysler Town & Country. Chrysler minivan owners get an extra $500 back. Add that to option package values and get up to $2,600 off. But it won't last long. The Chrysler Plymouth National Minivan Sale. Only at the minivan store at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
You've got to come into Foodland this week. Buy a Dubuque whole boneless ham for $12.99. Get a honeysuckle white hen turkey free with coupon.
Yes.
Russet potatoes, a 10-pound bag, just 99 cents.
Yes.
A case of Coke products, only $3.99 with bonus coupon and $10 purchase.
Yes.
And Hellman's mayonnaise, 32 ounces, only $1.75 with coupon. And double coupons, too. All these great savings, they just keep on coming. At Foodland, yes.
Talk about getting your game into playoff gear. The Capitals, who were a very good special teams team in the regular season, have faltered in the playoffs. Look at the percentages. They are down in both power play and penalty killing. Conversely, the Penguins in the playoffs are converting at a much higher rate in the playoffs in the power play and killing penalties at a much better rate than they did during the regular season. And clearly, that is one of the reasons that we are here at game number 7 at the arena.
Coming on the face-off on the power play for the Penguins with Robitaille and Sandstrom. They got Joseph and Samuelson play the points. With the right point to Joseph. He has a little room. Moves it in. Doesn't shoot it. Now doesn't know what to do with it. He goes left side over to Wolf Samuelson. Work it over to Cullen, who floats it over to Robitaille. Now to Sandstrom. Backdoor pass. Here's Joseph shooting. He fanned on it. The puck was bouncing. And it's grabbed now by Sandstrom of the Penguins. Over to Cullen. He looks it over. Goes left side to Samuelson in front. Back to Cullen. He had an open net, but he couldn't deflect it in. Coming around to the left wing side. Gets the puck over to Wolf Samuelson, who's banged hard. Sandstrom from behind the net, walks out in front, throw it in front of the net. Loose puck, the Capitals come away. Here they have a 2-on-1. Here comes Pavanka shorthanded with Walchuk. Pavanka looking, shoots it. Reagan makes the arm save and holds the puck out of there. Pavanka and Joseph get the sticks into one another. And frustration now sitting in here for the Capitals. Well, Pavanka had Walchuk open, and he scored a shorthanded goal in this series earlier. But Blanca elected to take the shot himself, and Reggett, following him all the way in, played it perfectly and made the shoulder save.
Keep that in mind. Mark that one down on your videotape, because that could have changed the dynamics of this game all the way around. John Cullen skated back as hard as he possibly could, but he was not able to catch up. And Ulf Samuelsson destroyed the passing lane, which is what the defenseman has to do, and Reggett takes the shooter, and he stopped Pavanka. One of the bad things about the delayed penalty was that the number one line, the power play line, was on the ice for the extended amount of time before the Capitals gained possession. Thus, the Penguins had to start with their second power play unit. Well, they had a good chance, only John Cullen could not control the puck enough to deflect it into an open net.
The Capitals have had the last half dozen shots. The Penguins had the first 4 in the game. Washington now with 6. Francis to battle Mike Eagles in the Penguin zone. Dropped the puck, and Francis comes away with it to Larry Murphy. Murphy seems to be seeing the ice extremely well here tonight. And here comes Murph now from his own blue line, looking. Going to play it down the boards and around to the left side of the camp's in, but it's an offside call against the Penguins. He was in across the blue line when Murphy shot that puck in.
Jaromir Jagr was a bit offside on the play, as Murphy, who I think he was sure whether Murphy was going to carry it or dump it in. He thought he was going to dump, and he took off, so the face-off will come just about center ice. Before you go counting your biscuits, remember that Len Berry scored very early in game number 1, and things turned around. And I think a second goal here, because of the psychological ramifications it might have on the Capitals, would be absolutely stupendous if the Penguins could score on this power play.
Eagles on the play again against Francis. This time Eagles won it. Johansson surveys the scene, the Capital defenseman, and he'll blast it up into the left of goaltender Ken Reagan. McIver and Murphy work the points. McIver was the only scorer in the game, scoring on really a breakaway to give the Penguins a lead. He'll rifle it back into the Caps in. Left wing corner, Francis digging along the boards. Jagr comes over, he couldn't get to it, and Ricky handles the puck. They'll shoot it up to the Penguin goal, where Reagan again sets the play up with 45 seconds to go in the Mark Giannotti penalty. Capitals defenseman went off for high sticking at 7:36. Good pass by Murphy to Francis. Left side to Stevens, off the stick, and now Francis has it again. Lead it around, looking for Jagr. Jagr backdoor behind the net to Kevin Stevens. Jam it around to the right point to Murphy, quickly out, and trying to go left point. That pass too far outside the line. The Penguins have to regroup and get set up again on the power play. Murphy backpedaling with Pavanka all over him. 18 to go on the penalty. And they give it to Larry Murphy. On to center circle, the Caps blue line. And the Penguins will be offside again if they touch the puck, and they are. Jagr touched it. This power play just about over for the Pens.
The Pens fail to get a shot on goal, or have thus far. Remember that the Capitals were tied for the league lead in shorthanded goals this year with 13. And those kind of cross-ice passes that Murphy was trying to hit McIver can be very dangerous. The Caps have already had one shorthanded opportunity here tonight. And be careful about those lateral passes along the blue line.
Penguins had 4 shots in about the first 2 minutes of play, and they haven't had one since on Jim Carey. And one of the keys to them beating Washington and testing is going to be the ability to test Carey, and they've got to get some shots on it. McEachran, go ahead.
I'm sorry, they wanted to pepper him early, clearly, because they felt that he was feeling a bit unsure of himself, and they wanted to pepper him with a lot of shots.
And McEachran losing the draw to Pavanka. Capitals have won some good faceoffs here on this penalty killing effort, and it's helped them control the play and keep the puck in the Penguin zone. Penalty is over now, and Giannotti comes on. Penguins fail to score. They're 0 for 1, and a long shot by Robitaille. That one Carey handles. Leaves it behind his own net to Sylvain Cote, and around the wood and on the center. Ulf Samuelsson. Defensively for the Penguins. He coughed it up, and Cote has it again. Right onto the Penguin line, and Ulf Samuelsson takes control of it. Outlet pass, got off by the Capitals, but Kjell Samuelsson over to take the puck. Going to Thomas Sandstrom. Rifle it back into the Caps in. It comes all the way around to the near corner, goes after his own pass. Leaves the puck for McEachran. McEachran to Pittsburgh, around to the far wing. Now tapped away by Juneau, but not out. LaRue shooter right back to the net. That stop is made by Carey. He scrambles to get back up. Where's the puck? LaRue's got it. Kicking away. Play it near side to Hudson. Hudson in front. Has a man there, but Sandstrom trying to swing it to the goal, and he can't do it. But free, and it goes to Keith Jones. He comes back with Juneau. 3-on-2. Hudson getting back in the play to make it 3-on-3. And LaRue knocks the puck off the stick of Juneau and into the seat. Good play there by LaRue. And the Frenchie got over to get that stick down and just get a piece of it and deflect it up into the seats. Because if Juneau gets by him on that side, they can make that 3-on-2 happen. They couldn't do it.
Well, a good play by Francois Leroux along the sideboards. Good play by Francois Leroux in the offensive zone. Francois with a good poke check. He didn't try to charge at Juneau and try to knock him into the 10th row. He used his stick to knock the puck away. Equally as effective. And I want to give credit to Mike Hudson on 2 counts. He took a hit to allow Leroux to get that shot on goal, and he raced back to make the 3-on-2 a 3-on-3. Good hustle by Mike Hudson.
Pittsburgh leading 1-0. Joseph lost control of the puck. Christie shooting right to the net. That's stopped by Reggett, and the rebound comes off to the near corner. Billy Murray of the Penguins. The Capitals come after him. He shoots it down the far boards and up ice. Hudson's going to come off the ice. The Penguins get Stevens on here as the Capitals go back and gain possession. Lead pass to Dale Hunter. Hunter has 8 points in this playoff series. He scored a pair of goals in 2 separate games. The Capitals set up shop now in their own end. Tenorti with 8:53 to go in the first in Game 7. And his attempted pass into the Penguins' end is out of play. 8 minutes and 51 seconds to go. Here in the first period, the Penguins lead in Game 7, 1-0.
The Bucks battle the Dodgers Thursday at 10 right here on Prime Sports, KBL.
Before you try an ice brewed beer,
give me an ice.
Remember, all ice beers start cold, but most are heat pasteurized. Not cool. So get real cold.
Bud Ice.
Bud Ice. It's ice brewed and cold filtered to start cold and stay cold.
Give me an ice.
Ask for icy smooth Bud Ice. And new 96-calorie Bud Ice Light.
Since 1929, one insurance agency has stood apart in the AK Valley by providing outstanding customer service. The Altany Insurance Agency. For the 2nd straight year, voted best insurance agency in a Valley News Dispatch Readers Poll. The Allegheny Chamber of Commerce presented the Altany Insurance Agency with the 1994 Small Business of the Year Award, an award voted on by the U.S. Small Business Administration based on staying power, growth, and contributions to the community. Ron Altany, Dale Blahan, Mike Douglas. The tradition continues. The Altany Insurance Agency.
Francis up against Pivanka. They'll put Poulin matching up against the armor Yager. That's the setup they want here. Watch Poulin the last shift out. Here comes the play to the Penguins in offside. You may remember the delayed penalty call that was called against Poulin really was struggling to get his wind. I mean, he has been off the entire series since Game 1. It's not easy, boy, coming back, and it'll take him a couple of shifts here to get back into the play because it's so demanding when you get going. There's Kelly Miller. He's been an outstanding forward for the Capitals in this series.
And Tenorti has been skating for the past week or so. I suspect that obviously had they won earlier that he would have been able to rest and would have been really fresh for the 2nd series. But they brought him out tonight obviously because he can have a number of months to rest. But you have to wonder, although he's been skating, he has not played in a game in 3 weeks.
And there's a whole lot different because the racehorses have been racing for a week, and he's just coming out on the track right now.
Especially they're trying to match him against the #1 line, too. He's out now against the Yager line.
Tenorti, of course, coming to the Capitals. They're involved in that big deal for Kevin Hatcher, the Caps defenseman, for years. He was so strong against the Penguins in last year's playoff series. The puck in the Penguin zone. They battle for it on the boards. Murphy of the Penguins trying to work it out of the zone. He can't do it. Tenorti, good effort to keep it in. Now Yager deflects it back to the blue line. Where's the puck? The Penguins come away with it. Murphy on with Stevens. Murphy to the Capitals end. Murphy looks. He has Francis going to the right side. He plays it to the right wing corner. Tenorti had knocked down one of the Penguins. That's Murphy on the far wing. Capitals drag it through to center ice. Tenorti has a tendency sometimes to ramble and really move around the ice. Here's Poulin shooting, deflected over to the right side of Peter Bondra. Behind the net to Poulin. And shoulder has to be suspect too. He jumped out of the way there to avoid getting hit. Yager lost the puck. And Hunter, fortunately, without a stick. Oh, was that a break for the Penguins? Hunter lost his stick earlier on the shift. Knocked the puck away from Yager and had a clear lane going to the net, but he didn't have a blade. He couldn't shoot it. Robitaille on the near side. Dump it away inside the Capitals line. And Sylvain Cote handles it for Washington. Pass through to center red. Cheryl Samuelson takes it away. Looking for McEachran. He comes up to the blue line, just shoots it in. Christie's trying to steer it out of the zone, and he does. Throwing softly into the Penguin zone, and Samuelson back with just about 7 minutes to go in the first period. A 1-0 Pittsburgh lead if you joined us late. Norm McIver scoring for the Penguins at 1:37. of the first period. Bondra rambling back on the right side with that great speed. Alt Samuelson paired against him. He pushed the brakes on. Bondra shoots it right to the net. Good save there. The rebound. And Robitaille comes away with it. The Capitals getting stronger right now, and they're coming on. Jimmy Johnson, right from his own blue line. Move it far side to Sergei Gonchar. Back to Jim Johnson. And the Capitals survive the early onslaught, only allowing one goal, and they appear to be gaining some momentum right now. To the left point, it bounces by Jim Johnson. Relayed it back into the Caps in, and Hunter can't touch it. He wants to get off the ice. Shell Samuelson directed up right wing to Joe Mullen. Took a little bump as he shoots it in behind the Capital goal. Murray's after for the Penguins. Couldn't play it out in front, and it comes all the way to the blue line. And Joseph whacked it back into the zone, the offside call.
Well, assuming that the game finishes in a regular amount of time, you can watch the Game 7 replay, the replay of tonight's game, at midnight, right after Hockey Hotline and the press box, and then again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. That 10 a.m. will be a solid time, but as far as tonight, again, assuming there is no sudden death overtime, at midnight tonight, a complete replay of tonight's Game 7 right here on Prime Sports KBL.
Now, will you get two separate, will Hockey Hotline be on two times again now?
We'll be up all night long.
I mean, will the replay have it again?
That's a good question.
Yeah. And at 10 in the morning, will you get to see Hockey Hotline on the replay? Or do you get, and the other question is, do you get two separate checks?
Yeah, right. You already know the answer to that one. Here's a question that didn't need answered.
1-0 Pittsburgh here in Game 7. Connor Walchuk looking to get it to Ricky, and he does, out the right wing. Keith Jones scrambling on the right side. Got a step on LaRue. Knocked down now, gets back to his knees and floats it to the goal, and Reagan rams it off net. Has possession of it. No, I think that'd be great if you had a Hockey Hotline, you know, and you could be on really almost 24 hours, Stan.
It could be, we could sell things. It could be like QVC. Look, I'm thankful they could run the replay of Hockey Hotline all they want. I'm surprised they didn't say, look, you guys show up at 3, catch a nap in between midnight and 3. You already know the final score, and come on, take live phone calls. And I'll tell you what, there'd be some. There'd be some live calls. You know, seriousness, in another programming note, the Pirate-Dodger game was scheduled to be televised tonight beginning at 10 o'clock here on Prime Sports KB. Obviously, we're not going to be showing that. We'll make it up later on in the season. But for those of you who are expecting the Pirate game to be joined in progress, we're not going to do that. We have an expanded Hockey Hotline tonight. And then again, the game replay beginning at midnight, all things being equal and considered.
Be careful here on these face-offs. I tell you, they worry me. Francis against Pivonka. A lot of things can happen. This time Francis won the draw. It goes back to Larry Murphy. The Penguin blue liner stepping behind his own goal. Rolls it over to McIver. And his pass on through to the Capitals into the ice. The Penguins hustle to get back. Tenorti did not get there, and Francis did. That's the case there. Francis having a little more hop in his legs than Tenorti. But the Capitals do come away with a biscuit. Allie Johansson. Penguins may have taken a mental note on that because Tenorti had trouble turning and going back. Francis was 15 feet behind him and still got to the puck. You might want to play in that corner and just go after it. On to center. Francis. Over to McIver. And he zigzags to the Capitals line. He'll throw it down the boards and around to the near corner. After it is Kevin Stevens. Backdoored around behind the net to Yager. He's trying to avoid a check. Comes down in front. Turns and shoots it. And Carey the save. And the puck free right in the goal mouth. And Carey puts the left hand on it. Squeezes hard to keep the puck out of the net. Yager just overpowering the defense on that play. We'll be back. Penguins 1. Capitals nothing.
They went head-to-head in Denver, Colorado. 23 from all of America's light beers competed in the famous blind taste test at the Great American Beer Festival. And guess who came out a winner? Pittsburgh's own Icy Light. But you probably didn't need a taste test to tell you that. All you really need is an ice-cold glass of Icy Light. So why not have a winner? Have an Icy Light.
It's happening. Only the people who invented America's best-selling minivans could have a sale like this. The Chrysler Plymouth National Minivan Sale is here. Get $1,000 cash back on Plymouth Voyager, Roomy or Grand Voyager, and Chrysler Town & Country. Chrysler minivan owners get an extra $500 back. Add that to option package values and get up to $2,600 off. But it won't last long. The Chrysler Plymouth National Minivan Sale. Only at the minivan store at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Now, Jim Carrey has had nightmares about this. He knows Jaromir Jagr's there, and this may boost his confidence. Look the way he hugs the post and blocks Jagr from the wraparound. That's Kevin Stevens' stick you see right there, ready for a rebound, which Carey has been giving up in this series rather uncharacteristically. So that's a save that you might mark down that may boost Carey's confidence just a little bit.
We saw Carey with a stick on the ice earlier this year. Jaromir Jagr scored a goal in exactly that same type of fashion. A little more time, and Carey went down with a stick on the ice, and he put it right over his left shoulder. Up high. And the Capitals feed it to the Penguins in. And we'll get an icing call as Shel Samuelson went right through the glass. The glass went into the crowd. Dale Hunter banged him from behind, and the glass came out of the moorings there that set in. The fans reached over and stopped it there. The young lady was right in that front row. How do you do?
Boy, you think about that check that Trevor Linden executed in the Vancouver-St. Louis series. The glass shattered, and several of the people were cut sitting there, not injured seriously, but there were some cuts. Racing after the puck, Samuelson gets there first to avoid or to keep the icing play alive, and Hunter, good solid play.
Well, they're going to give him a boarding penalty on that call.
I thought the arm was up because of the icing.
That looked like a pretty good check to me.
I agree with you, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I really thought the arm was up because they were just going to signify the icing. And that'll put the Penguins on the power play. That's right. Dale Hunter is going to get the power play. The penalty called against him for the boarding and put the Penguins on the power play for the second time. Their first power play, they did not get a shot on goal. We showed you that graphic. In games the Penguins have won, they have not taken any penalties, or as many. They've not taken any tonight. When they do, and we talked about the physical condition of Mark Tenorti, toward the end of the regular season, Jim Schoenfeld was using Tenorti on the power play, planting him in front of the opponent's net, a la Kevin Stevens on the offensive end. There you see Shell got cut. Maybe that's why the penalty was called on that play.
Talk about an old warhorse there. I mean, Samuelson's been cut in the lip, and the penalty wasn't called. This one was called. A lot of miles there on old Danny Longlegs, but he keeps playing some good hockey for the Penguins. Seated next to him is Tom Barrasso, and I watched the warm-up tonight. Barrasso, in my humble opinion, was the sharpest of all the goaltenders. He was really sharp in taking shots. So maybe Barrasso may be right back where you'd want him, and that would be good news should the Penguins win this series. They've been able to have the luxury of using both Reagan and Barrasso further on in playoff competition. But they've got to get by Washington first, and they've got a long way to go in this game.
How many times do you suppose that has happened to Shel Samuelson, getting butterflied like that? Hundreds? I'm sure. Well, they got to get by this game first. That is the first order of business tonight. However, Penguin fans, should the Pens win tonight, tickets for all 4 potential home games in round number 2 will go on sale tomorrow morning, May the 19th at 10 a.m. at the arena. Tickets may be purchased at Arena Gate number 1, all Ticketmaster outlets, or by calling the Ticketmaster charge lines at area code 412-323-1919. Now here's the setup. The Penguins win tonight. They will have home ice advantage in round 2 against the New Jersey Devils, and this has been solidified now. Game number 1 would be Saturday night, May the 20th at 7:30. Game number 2 right here at home, Monday night, May the 22nd. And then, of course, Wednesday and Friday would be at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, where they have all kinds of lease problems going on there, and they're threatening to move to Nashville. It would be close to Elvis. Maybe they'll freeze a pond in Elvis's backyard, and then when Elvis leaves the building, you got yourself a scoop. If he leaves that building where he currently is, you got a big scoop.
Wow, he would be in Nashville. He'd go home to Memphis. He'd go home to Memphis. He would. He'd go back to Graceland. That is an amazing place, though. I had a chance to visit there. Graceland, it really is.
I've never been there.
Oh, it's. I think the most astonishing thing that amazed me in part of the house, they had every record that he had that was a gold or platinum or whatever other things they have in this room, and it just went almost, it seemed like miles. One went after another and another and another, and every time you went by, you saw the names of the songs, and they all came back to you. I mean, all songs that he had sung, and it truly is, that made the whole trip worthwhile to me, just to see that room and see all the great things and all the accomplishments that he had in his brief career, really brief.
He still had more #1 songs on the top of the charts until the Beatles came along, who eventually topped them. Of course, this is there he is. There he is. He's here.
Hey, well, we've got an opportunity. This is the Penguins' 6th 7th game in their history. Let's go back and remember just one of them. May 1st, 1992, the Penguins complete a comeback from being down 3-1 and beat the Capitals 3-1 to win the series 4-3.
And I'll tell you, these games.
And we'll see that handshake tonight. And the only thing left to find out is which of the lines will be smiling.
Francis now back on the power play. Chance number 2 for the Penguins here as that problem with the pane of glass has been corrected. Stevens on the near board to the Capital zone. Lead it over to Jaromir Jagr. Jagr back to the right point to Murphy. Penguin point man, they challenge him. It comes back to Jagr. Near corner to Francis. In front for Stevens and too hard. It went right by him and on to center.
I think a kill here would be a very big confidence boost for the Capitals at this point in the game.
Murphy stands. Jagr got crunched by Tenardi, but the puck through. And here's Stevens in front. Has a man there. Francis deflects it in! Ron Francis knocks it home. And the Penguins have a 2-0 lead. Oh, Buckham-Dano, Ron Francis on the power play goal. And Tenardi was so concerned about Jagr, he took himself out of the play. He completely opened up the ice. He's been on for both goals, one by McIver and this one by Francis. But Tenardi gambled. He lost the gamble, and Francis gets the goal.
Ronnie Francis with his 3rd goal of the playoffs. The Penguins convert on the power play. The pass ahead to Jagr, who just chips it for Kevin Stevens. Stevens checked by Johansson. A great pass by Stevens. Just one hand on the stick, and he gets it over onto the stick of Ron Francis. Johansson was not able to keep up with Kevin Stevens.
I'm not sure Francis touched it. Let's wait and see here. Yes, he did.
At the very end.
Yep.
It was actually Kelly Miller who almost shoved it into his own net. It bounced off his stick onto the stick of Ronnie Francis, and Francis gets the power play goal. Give credit to Kevin Stevens, though, for out-muscling Calle Johansson.
The Penguins now with a 2-0 lead here in period number 1. Looking to get it to the right wing is Keith Jones. And ripped back into the Penguins net. Behind the cage, Reagan sets it up for defenseman Chris Joseph. Number 3 on the playoff year for Ron Francis. Outlet to Luc Robitaille. Robitaille to Francois Leroux. Back to Robitaille. And will come near wing. Sandstorm shoots it again back in behind. Jagr has 2 points in this game, 2 assists, setting up both goals. And Junot carries the mail for the Capitals. Streaking back into the Penguins zone. Cut off by Leroux on the opposite side of his defensive post. And they battle for it in the near corner. And Junot just can't hold on to it. Shel Samuelson without a stick. Takes the puck. Move it with his glove. And a penalty coming up against Pittsburgh. Here's Jim Johnson. Johnson had it blocked by Troy Murray. And now the Penguins will be shorthanded. A roughing call against Shel Samuelson. Will send the Penguin defenseman to the penalty box. And give the Capitals a chance here on the power play.
Well, remember the boarding call against Dale Hunter, which led to the power play goal by Ron Francis. Both of us thought that was, even though Samuelson was cut, which may have induced Koharski into calling the penalty, was a questionable call. Now it'll be the Capitals' first opportunity on the power play. They have had difficulty in this series. They have hit so far in the first 6 games, and this is their first opportunity here in Game 7 on just 14.5%. 6 power play goals in 41 opportunities. The Penguin penalty kill, excellent, 85.4%.
He gets a penalty for closing his hand on the puck. If he'd have moved it ahead with his hand, just batted it, but he closed his hand, or closed the puck. Closed his hand on the puck. That's what he did. Watch it here. You'll see him reach down and closed it right around and then threw the puck. You have to bat it. You can move it with your glove, but you can't hold it long enough to do that. Delay a game penalty. Holding the
puck.
That's it.
Squeezing the puck.
Power play for the Capitals. Pavanka just inside the Penguin line, and Troy Murray rolls it on back down to the Capital blue line. Johansson scooting back, pressured by Troy Murray. Big moment here for the Capitals. They need to get one on the board. Go the right side. Pavanka can't get it. Samuelson chases after it too. They go back behind the net. All fell down. Capitals Bondra to the right side of Johansson. Giving the puck to Peter Bondra. 2-0 Pittsburgh period number 1. On the center to Johansson. Near side to Junot. Joey Junot. Cutting right for the net. In front, and nobody's there to tap it in. Bondra on the right point. Over to Johansson. Swing it to the near side. Over to Dimitri Christie. Going back behind the net to Joey Junot. Good passing with the Capitals. They're not shooting the puck, though. Johansson near side of Christie. He tried to shoot it toward the goal. Blocked by the Penguins. Off Samuelson. And again, the Penguins clear. Troy Murray and Hudson come off. And Larry Murphy. From the blue line, the Penguins put new people on.
Good penalty killing by Troy Murray.
1 minute to go on the penalty for the Penguins. Bondra flying through to the Penguins in. Juneau on the left wing board. Looks for Hunter. Moved back now by Christie from the left point over to Juneau. Sandstrom stalking him. Get it from the right wing board and throw it across the goal mouth. Again, nobody there in the red uniform. And Dale Hunter is looking for the puck. LaRue trying to work it out. Couldn't do it. Juneau right side. A Gunchar and a slap shot. Reagan caught that one. Juggles it. Holds on. Face off in the Penguin zone.
Joey Juneau is the key to the Capital power play. They try to get overload on one side, leaving him on the other side and get him to the puck. He is the trigger man on the power play, even though he is a forward and not a defenseman. They try to create open ice and leave Juneau where he is so that he can get that kind of shot. That time they reversed it, and the shot came from the other point. But Juneau is the guy who is the trigger man. More than half his points this year came on the power play. He is not a goal-scoring specialist. He had 5 all year long, and 3 of those came on the power play. He has 2 goals so far in this series, none of them on the power play, but most of his assists come on the power play. He is the trigger man. And the Penguins, you saw Thomas Sandstrom stalking him, keeping an eye on.
Hunter won the face-off back to Cote and Troy Murray. Able to get over and poke it off his stick back to the Capitals line. Cote doing the puck right side over to Gonchar, and now back on the near wing to Cote. Then 40 to go in the first period. 22 on the Penguin penalty to Shale Samuelson. Pittsburgh leading 2-0. Cote hauls it in. Right side pass to Gonchar. He'll shoot it. Never got to the goal. Keith Jones lost it to Yager, and he takes the heat out of a hot kitchen as he blasts the puck up into the Capital zone. Gary's going to set it up for Cote, but the penalty of Shale Samuelson is almost over. Here he comes on board. The Penguins have killed it.
And LaRue made the play that allowed Yager to clear it.
Connor Walchuk flip it behind the Penguin net. Joseph hurries it up the right side. Can Yager get it free from the Caps? He can't do it. And still now at center, and Francis reaches in to take command of it. He is stripped of the puck. Sergei Gonchar and Sylvain Cote. Francis wants off here, and the Penguins put a new player on. That's McEachran. The Eagles of Washington shoots it up to the Penguin right wing corner. LaRue going for a puck that's on edge. Can't clear it out, but Yager will. Tenorti scoots it back to the Penguin stripe. Yager took a check from Poulin. The puck on inside the Penguin blue line. Joseph's going to Francois LaRue. Giving the puck to Joseph. He has some room. Joseph down the slot. A slip shot and just missed the net. He had Kerry Duncan on that play and it went right over his head. Johansson on the right wing board. Can't clear. McEachran behind the goal. He's got time here. Now he turns around. He can't find the puck. McEachran challenged by Johansson. And then the Capitals go after it. And Kelly Miller of Washington waits away from everybody. 13 seconds to go in the period. And dumped away to the Penguin zone. Going for it will be Ulf Samuelson. Behind his own net. Doesn't want to make a mistake here. Passing to Robitaille. He'll let that clock tick off. Time runs out. The first period. No, it didn't either. They call a play here and they stop it. Penalty will be issued. Another penalty against Luc Robitaille. Robitaille is going to be penalized with 1.2 seconds left. And Tenorti and Ulf Samuelson get it involved here. See, Tenorti is like a guy ready to go. I mean, he's ready to really start laying some licks on people. The problem he's got now is it's a 7th game and you're down 2-0. You've got to be real careful. You know, the Penguins since '91, Stan, when they have the lead in a playoff game at the end of one, they are 28-3. The only team, the team that has beaten them 2 out of 3 is Washington. But they are really tough in playoff competition when they have the lead. Elbowing to Robitaille.
Well, that's a very bad penalty for Robitaille to take with 1.2 seconds remaining. The puck was dead in the corner. Tenorti and Samuelson going after it. The clock was going to run out. Nothing Luc Robitaille could have done at that point was going to affect the play on the ice. As it is, the Capitals will start the second period with a power play, which will give them a psychological boost, I think, in the locker room, saying, look, we can score in that power play in the first 2 minutes. We're going to be okay. And now Schoenfeld has pulled Jim Carey. They've got 6 attackers against 4. They have to win the faceoff and get a shot.
That's not going to happen. They dropped the puck. Berube was the extra man on, and Ulf Samuelson was knocked down as time ran out. They put all their big players up front to try and crash the net, and Ricky just simply Ran right over Rolf Samuelson. And the period has come to an end here at the Civic Arena. Rolf Samuelson remains down on the ice.
First period shots on goal. Washington 9, Pittsburgh 7.
And I can guarantee you Alfie will be back up.
Yep, and he'll remember. He knows the number of that truck, and he'll remember that. And so do the fans, who certainly recall. There it is right there. Riki got his stick in there. Koharski, no call.
And he had the stick between his legs and then elbowed him from behind. We've played one here in Game 7. And the score, the Pittsburgh Penguins 2 and the Washington Capitals nothing. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Do you recognize a leader when you see one? Sometimes it's not that easy. In health insurance, of all the managed care plans in the nation, only 10%.
Just like Troy Murray got his first goal as a Penguin the other night, Norm McIver got his first goal as a Penguin tonight. Came early at 1:37 from Larry Murphy and Jaromir Jagr, and the Penguins jumped on top just as they wanted to. A first period scoring summary brought to us by Coors Light. Naturally brewed, reach for the silver bullet, the pure taste of the Rockies. And then the Penguins power play, their second of the night, resulted in a goal. Terrific pass from Kevin Stevens. Jaromir Jagr chipped the puck ahead. And Ronnie Francis, who had just one career playoff goal against the Capitals, scored his third against the Caps in this series to give us a 2-0 lead. Shots on goal, the Pens outshot 9-7, but the 2-shot advantage for Washington doesn't count. The 2-goal advantage for the Penguins does. When we come back to the Civic Arena, we'll talk to Troy Murray, who has been a big face-off man for the Pens in this series, also a penalty killer. We'll talk to Troy when we return.
This is what it was like to be a judge at the famous blind taste test at the Great American Beer Festival. You don't see any expensive advertising. You don't even know whether the beer has a rich golden color or what the bartender looks like. All you have to go by is taste. Just taste. When they took their blindfolds off, they saw Pittsburgh's own Icy Light, a winner over 20 national and regional light beers. So whether you're looking for a beer to drink with a blindfold on or off, go for the one that won for taste, Icy Light.
WTAE 4 News is continuous coverage. And here are some of the stories we've been following. When Alan Jennings opened the fugitive files and asked for your help, you delivered. The results? A hardened criminal is off the streets. If you thought your medical records were confidential, you're wrong. Ivan Zeno showed you how to protect yourself. And we brought you exclusive reports on the pirate sale and will continue to bring you the latest. For continuing coverage, turn to WTAE 4 News.
Acura Integra Sports Coupe and Sports Sedan. Not since Hot Wheels have cars been this fun. Track sold separately. Test drive the Integra at your Western Pennsylvania Acura dealer.
What's the big deal with burgers? Compared to Subway's 6-inch cold-cut combo for just $1.69, they're no big deal. And for something beyond compare, there's our foot-long cold-cut combo. Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
This segment of Pittsburgh Penguin Hockey is brought to you by the people at Mellon Bank. You're why we do our very best.